meeting is now streaming live on Facebook.
All right, so we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sassquad Trail Runners RunVenture Zoom series. Tonight is I had to look back and see the number. We are on number 16, which is hard to believe. Maggie Guterl is actually our first guest that we had way back in June. And we'll chat about that a little bit. But tonight, you can see I am joined here by Maggie Guterl, Elaine Acosta, and Otto, who will be chatting with us about their epic reunion at BIGS Backyard Ultra in Tennessee about 1 month ago. But before I give them their squatchy introduction, I'm going to share a few updates for you on what is happening in Squatch land here at Sassquad Trail Running. And I'll keep this real short so we've got plenty of time to chat with these three. So this weekend, we have our annual Squatchy Leftovers 5K, 10K trail race. This year, we had to move locations to the Watchung Reservation in Mountainside, New Jersey. We are offering 2 different start times, 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. The 9 a.m. time slot is sold out, but we still have a few slots left for the 11 a.m. And we're also offering a virtual option if you would rather run your race on your own. You can sign up for that. We'll mail you the handcrafted wood medal and race swag. And then our final event of the year is on Saturday, December 19th. We are going to Central Park in Parsippany, New Jersey, not New York City. We have our annual Ugly Sweaters Squatchy Night Trail Race. If you've been around Sassquad, you know that this event is typically held at the Wawayanda State Park in Hewitt, New Jersey. And unfortunately, the state parks are not giving out race permits for the rest of the year. So those of you who are praying for horrendous weather again at Wawayanda, you'll have to wait until 2021 when hopefully we can move back there. Traditionally, we've had horrible weather anytime we're at Wawayanda. So this year we'll be in Morris County, New Jersey for that event. You can go on ultrasignup.com to register for those 2 events coming up. So that about wraps it up for the updates. I am getting better at condensing and keeping them short. So the reason that you all are here, the reunion at BIGS Backyard last month. So we are joined by Maggie, Elaine, and Otto. And I believe many of you who are watching are probably already familiar with who these wonderful runners are, but I'm still going to provide a squatchy intro for each of them. So like I said before, Maggie was the first guest that we had on our RunVenture Zoom series way back on June 3rd, 2020, which feels like a lifetime ago. If you were a part of that unforgettable evening, you'll remember that we had, we'll call them technical difficulties with some hackers getting into Zoom. But Maggie handled it like any other problem that could arise in an ultra. She took it all in stride without missing a beat. So I first got to meet Maggie back in 2018 when she came and she won our Squatchung surprise race at the Watchung Reservation. And she has since moved out to Durango, Colorado to work for Tailwind Nutrition as their events and athletes manager. And Maggie has accomplished some incredible feats in ultra running world besides winning the Squatchung surprise. She's probably best known for winning BIGS Backyard Ultra last year by covering 250 miles in 60 hours. So last month, Maggie completed about 162 miles before having to drop. And in 2018, she covered 183 miles. And we're going to hear all about this year's event in just a few minutes. So moving on to Elaine Acosta. I've gotten to know Elaine a lot more this past year, particularly in the last couple of months. Just a few weeks ago, we got to meet up in Brooklyn to run the end of Michael Ortiz's Game of Hundo's finale, the 100-miler. And honestly, it's been a while since I've laughed that hard. At one point, Elaine was running around the block with a megaphone, screaming 100. Yoshiko Joe, our other friend, had 5 cowbells, was ringing them, and then I was running with a speaker blasting the final countdown as Michael was finishing the last couple miles. If you want to see that, there is some footage out there on Facebook that Elaine put together. It's very funny. It's on YouTube, I think. So Elaine is a graphic designer in Somerset, New Jersey. She's also a very accomplished ultra runner and pacer. She is very, very involved in the local running community, especially with her running club, the Raritan Valley Road Runners, RVRR, who also does a ton of trail running. if you're a runner in New Jersey, chances are you know Elaine personally or have heard of either her or her husband, Tom O'Reilly. Elaine and Tom had been nicknamed the first couple of trail running, and they have made an incredible impact on our trail running community here in New Jersey. Elaine has continued to carry on Tom's legacy since he passed earlier this year. And Elaine is a huge supporter of Sassquad and she's come to many of our trail parties. So I've loved getting to know Elaine over the last couple of years. And finally, we have Otto Lamb. Me and him just officially met in person a couple of weeks ago when Otto and Elaine were crewing for Ryan Thorpe and Devang on a local 100-mile trail run. So for Otto, it would take probably the whole night to list all of his running accomplishments. I was just scrolling through his ultra sign up. It just kept going and going and going. I did a rough count and there were at least 27 100-mile finishes on his ultra sign up count alone. And I saw in a little blurb from his Spartathlon bio that he has completed over 160 marathons and ultra marathons. And that includes a Grand Slam of ultra running finish in 2016, which we don't know, that's Old Dominion, Western States, Vermont 100, Leadville, and Wasatch Front. And he's also completed Badwater 135 and Spartathlon 246 kilometer race in Greece. Otto is also an elite athlete of the Skechers Performance team. And I learned the other night that Otto is a Star Wars fan. So tonight I brought my Star Wars mug just for him. So that is our intro, just to give you all a little background on these wonderful people that are joining me tonight. So I think the best way to approach this interview is to kind of go a little bit around robin style so we can hear perspectives from each of you. And something that is unique is that a lot of times in podcasts or interviews, you don't get to hear from a runner's crew. And we have Elaine and Otto who helped crew Maggie. And I think that we're going to get some pretty fun behind the scenes information from both of these guys. So guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome. Well, let's start just with the basics. How do you guys know each other? When did you first meet? What's the backstory on your friendships, assuming that you three are friends?
We were supposed to figure this out before.
That was your homework assignment.
I don't know. Didn't we just decide that we knew each other somehow through Kino?
Yeah, definitely Kino.
Yeah.
Kino is a big runner and he just kind of linked everybody up. He had a Kino list that he would email everybody. And I think that's probably how we all met, right? Somehow.
Yeah, I actually met Thunder. I thought he was Kino. He was wearing a Kino bib. And I was like, oh, I've heard about this guy. So I said, are you Kino? And he's like, no, I'm Thunder. Kino just gave me his bib or something. And so I like never actually, it was like later that I met Kino. I think that was like in a marathon in West Virginia or something.
Oh, bad.
I have no idea.
Awesome.
So
all right. Well,
yeah, I think it's been, I mean, I met Kino, I think in like 2013.
Yeah,
maybe?
it's been a while.
So I must have met you guys like around
Shortly after that.
Yeah, and then I was invited to the ultra exclusive Bryant Court 100.
Yes, heard of that.
Otto's house is like 100 means 100 laps around this cul-de-sac, which is like I don't even know what the mileage is. It's like
60K, right?
60K.
50K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was fun. It is usually in December, so it's like super cold.
That race than it is sparkly.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think even people show up to try to like come and run, and they like brought donuts to like butter you up, and you're like, oh, I don't know these people.
And it started out as like his Christmas party, you know, like, oh, let's just run 100 laps around his block.
And his neighbors are like, what's going on?
People come out and like, what's going on? You know, all these people are running outside. It was fun.
Otto, are you doing it this year?
No, it was this year.
No, the pandemic, with the COVID, we have to stop. Yeah.
Okay.
But probably if things get better next year, we might bring it back next year. It
Awesome.
was
And I-
fun. It got bigger and bigger every year. It's crazy.
Awesome. All right, so let's talk about leading up to BIGS Backyard. And I think we've got to fill everybody in on kind of the dynamics of the crewing, because Elaine hopped on mid-race, right, to crew you, Maggie, who's Otto's
Yeah.
original crew. So maybe
So-
chat about like how, I know BIGS looked a lot different this year. So I think that info would probably be helpful for everybody.
Yeah. So normally I think he tries to get you to have one person as a crew, like, but last year wasn't as strict. If you wanted 2 people, you could, but but this year it was one person, very strict. And there was only 15 runners. So they were trying to keep it to like maybe under 70 people, with like the people who help Laz and, Mike Melton, who times it, and then the crew. And so I had Gina, she was coming back to crew me, and she had crewed me last year. And then Jen, our friend Jen, who she also crewed me last year, was helping Amelia, but her father passed away, and she's like, it was just too much to get on a plane twice and fly out. And she had a lot of other stuff going on. So I was like, well, Gina knows Amelia. She helped Amelia last year. So I was like, why doesn't Gina just be your official crew person? And I knew Otto was coming to just hang out, because like he was just coming along for the road trip. And Elaine was gonna crew Phil McCarthy. So it was like, Otto's crewed me before. He crewed me at in New Jersey one day in like 2014, and then we went to the World Championship in 2015, and him and Dylan came all the way to Italy. And so like I was like, oh yeah, this will be perfect. And it worked out great, because like Elaine got to be next to us, and then once Phil dropped out, she was able to come and just kind of help out and stuff. So that's what always happens anyway. Like when people drop, you have more crew people. So I just happen to know them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I know there's maybe some fun stories about your drive out there. So how did you guys get out to Tennessee?
Well, we all drove. Maggie drove from Colorado, and we came from New Jersey in Phil's awesome 1994 car.
Yes.
Which was so comfortable. The couch, it's like a couch. His seats were like a couch. We didn't think I was going to see it, but it did.
Yeah, I got to see it when we were in Brooklyn. It looked like an awesome, sweet ride.
I was so happy to see it. I like your car.
That's
I think
awesome.
I had a picture of me sleeping in the car. It was so
Probably.
comfortable.
On the way back.
I was driving and I took a selfie. You guys all sleeping on the back.
That's awesome. So leading up to the race, were there any kind of like planning sessions that happened? Did you guys chat? Was there any kind of game plan going, or was it just, we're gonna wing this?
We were just, it was winging it.
I think we stopped by the night before. Maggie was like,
Say, we
let me
stopped.
show you what I have. I was like, no, don't worry about it. We figured it out. And then like when I got there the next morning, then I realized she has like 10,000 bags. I was like, oh crap.
No, I didn't. Actually, I was pretty organized. It was just like,
Oh yeah.
we were in a tent with 3 other people.
Yeah,
It was like me and Courtney and Amelia, plus then our Howie, who was
Howie
shooting
and
photos, and Jamil. And so there was like a lot of stuff. But I felt like I was pretty organized. And I was also counting on maybe Gina would kind of like give him a rundown, because of where Gina was. Like we weren't like next to each other. We were in the same tent, but it wasn't like super easy to like.
Well, they had the mansion tent. Your tent was like Tailwind mansion.
Yeah. But it was actually, I didn't like the setup actually.
Yeah.
We should have just gone 3 across. I think it was like not efficient, and it was like wasted space, and like it was just hard to move around. You had to like step over people. It was just too many people.
People were sleeping by like the stove, and then you had to hop around them.
Yeah.
It was a little,
I mean,
but it was
definitely.
chaotic.
Maggie is very organized. That's true. Everything, she has a different bag, everything. Except I wasn't sure which bag was yours. We were like going through everything. But yeah, it was fun.
For people who weren't, obviously people weren't there, but maybe for some who didn't see pictures, when you say tent, are you talking, like, explain it? Is it a camping tent? Is it a 10x10 pop-up tent? Like what did it look like? Was it like Tent City with all these setups?
Yeah, well, he rented 10 by 10s this year for everyone since it was only 15 people. Last year it was an option. You could let him know you wanted one and he would rent one for you and you would just pay him cash when you got there. But in the past, people have just set up like tents places. Other people just have a chair in the grass. And yeah, it was pretty organized. I mean, everyone wants to be near the corral, so it was just like, and it was smaller, so it was just like a row of tents on either side of the corral.
Yeah, it's such a small crowd. Everybody was right by the start.
Yeah.
So easy. I can't imagine 70 runners last year?
Yeah. I remember last year I came back and they were like, we moved because they're like, we don't want you to walk that far down there. And I was like, well, it's not that far. Because like some people were like way down there, but I don't know. I think people kind of end up figuring out like, I'm in it to win, and also they have usually a group area where you can all just put your stuff.
Feel the same.
And there's no group area this year. So usually you could just all put your chairs underneath in like a cooler.
Here's a picture. Okay.
That's before all the stuff was in it.
Yeah. I probably have a photo of that too, kind of have everything documented.
Yes. Elaine, you're very well known for documenting everything, which is great. I mean, I felt like when I was following along, like, you were there because you really did post almost everything on social media. So it was pretty great. Awesome. So Maggie, what was it like for you? This was now your third time, right? Doing BIGS?
Yeah.
So what was it like for you going into this year? I mean, 2020 has been unbelievable. So talk to us about like, what was it like going into this year's event just with your last two outings, and what was your mindset going in?
I was just trying to, so leading up to it, I had like my first injury over quarantine and like all these different breathing issues, but then training was starting to be okay. And I was like, so I went into the same mindset, like, I'm in it. I want to get past 300 miles and whatever. And I felt like I knew exactly what stuff I needed. Whereas like, past years are just like, you don't know and you figure it out and you end up having too much food. We still have too much food. You feel like you go home with more food than you like bring there. It's like, why is there more food here? Yeah, but like you figure out like what foods you like work and stuff like that. So, it's like I just was really excited to see people that, because I hadn't left Colorado the entire year. Wow. And that was the only time I left, and I was like, I'm gonna drive. I don't feel like staying in hotels, so I drove, and my car was jam packed, and all of those like we had like a pro discount code for Thule, like those topper things that go on top of the car. But they're all sold out because like everyone's driving everywhere. Yeah. I was like, all right, I'll make this work. So I slept at a rest stop in Arkansas, but like I had to like rearrange things. Like I had it all planned out, but like this will just go in the front seat while I sleep. And so I slept in this like rest stop in Arkansas and then just drove the rest of the way. And it was like super easy.
How far was the drive for you from Colorado?
It's a 22-hour drive, I think. No, 26. I don't know. It's 20 something hours.
Far.
22. Yeah.
But it took you 2 days, right?
Yeah. I did like 14 and then whatever the rest is, 7.
On the way there.
8. The way back was different. That was awful.
Yeah, I heard that was pretty rough.
I feel like, I went to Birmingham to just stay at my friend's house because I was just pretty wrecked and I had planned to go see them, and I used their compression boots and my legs looked normal. They were so swollen after. But then then I left their house. So I had 22 hours from there, and it took me like 3 days to get home, I think.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah. Minus because I went to their house and that's 3 hours south. So it wasn't like productive. It's like
compression boots are worth it.
Yeah, I wasn't in any shape to drive much that day anyway. I think 3 hours was the max. It was nice to go there.
Awesome. So with these RunVenture Zoom series, traditionally, I've had a very hard time reading the comments while we're doing it, but now I have another laptop set up, so I'm able to see the comments. So I am going to interject every now and then. We have our first one that I think is noteworthy. This is from Sarah Moore. Wants to know, how many bottles of hairspray does it take to keep the braids so tight?
I don't know. This lady, Sarah, first of all, Sarah's one of the 4 women that ran. It was me, Amelia, and Courtney. And that Sarah hung in there for 200 miles, and she was hilarious. And I don't know, those braids were like, she used a lot of hairspray. It looked like I was bald. They were so tight. Like they didn't like, they looked, usually by the end of a race, I get to the hotel and it's like all crazy, but like not a hair was out of place. Even when I finally got to the hotel that one night, wherever state I was in, I was like, oh my God, a lot of hairspray.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So I have a question for Elaine and Otto. Was this your first time meeting Laz when you guys got to the race?
Yes, it was.
Because Maggie, I guess you guys are pretty good friends by now. So what was it like for you guys meeting Laz? Was he what you imagined? Was he a different personality? I heard there were some stories about the bonfire, some specific rules about the fire. You want to chat about that?
Yeah, well, Laz he was super genuine, friendly. I think not what we expected. We expected him to be a little strict, and Otto was even afraid to like get into his driveway when we got there. He was like, "What are the rules? You know, can we go inside?" But yeah, he was great. Really great.
Literally avoiding him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was scared when I first got there. I was avoiding him. I was like, if he was there, I would go the other way.
That's the funny part, is he's like this character and is like
He's the
intimidating.
nicest guy.
First went to Barkley, but then you like, I don't know, like he's like almost like a different character at Biggs. Like he's just Laz that he lives there, and he's just like,
Yeah.
you know, whatever.
Backyard.
Yeah.
He's very nice, and he literally came up to us, tell a story when we were waiting. We had nothing to do. He would tell a story, tell us about his house, his backyard, and all the land that he tried to, buy, and how he cleaned up all these spaces. It was nice. It was really nice, and he was really, really smart. He came up with all this stuff that he write online. Literally,
I know. Those updates every hour were incredible.
Yeah.
It would take me like probably a whole week just to write something. And
Right.
literally, his mind is so fast. He just came up with all this stuff, and right away he just typed it. It's amazing.
He always has like these quick, like witty, like comments, even at like 2 a.m.
Right.
You know, you could tell when he's getting tired though. When it goes on for 3 days, you'll say something to him, he'll just stare at you. And he's like, I haven't slept. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Like when we tried to tell him what the eggplant emoji meant, and you just stared at us.
Yeah.
I'm speechless.
Emoji. Well, he
That's
took
awesome.
the first lap. He invited us to his backyard to go see the trails, which was really nice. We were like, oh. Yeah.
Oh, so you got to walk around the trails with Laz?
Walk around. He showed us like where the runners are coming through, and where he built trails, and yeah, it was nice.
And
That's
how
awesome.
he actually like rake and clean the trail with his kids, and it was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like literally, it's his backyard. I mean, I think it goes part in his neighbor's yard, Ben and Susan Yancey. It's like next door neighbors, it's like a quarter mile. No, it's a half mile jog down the road from his house, because there's like a half mile marker kind of near their house, and you run on that road during the night. So, but they're super nice people too. They're like, I got to go shower at their house when I was done, and like,
oh, no way.
yeah, it's really nice. It's like a typical like Southern home, it's like, just like, family land that's like set far back. That's like, this is like big front porch, and I don't know. It's just really cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's chat about, paint the picture of what is it like, when the runners go out. What are you guys doing as crew? What happens in that amount of time from when your runner leaves to when they come back? What's happening?
So the hour actually goes really fast, right? You think you have all this time, but when the runners leave, you're already preparing for what they need when they come back. You have to cook, I guess, if you have a, stove. We had the 1920s stove. Right.
So we just clean up right after they leave. Then we do the
Yeah,
clean up,
organize,
Yeah.
figure out what they're going to want next.
Yeah. Try. Yeah.
And then hang out.
Try to clean up whatever in the tent. Yeah.
Otto had TV downloaded, all these TV
Yeah,
shows.
that's right.
I get to watch Andy.
Otto had all these movies downloaded. He's like, yeah, I'm going to watch movies. And we were like,
Yeah, I thought it would be so laid back. It's like I got like at least half an hour, and then I can watch an episode of The Office. It's like 20 minutes. It's perfect. I was like,
perfect.
Like he was used to crewing me at Worlds where it's like the loop was,
Well, it's so fast.
well, oh yeah, so New Jersey one day it was a mile, but was it even a mile at Worlds? I think it was like less. I don't know, it was in kilometers, so I don't know, but like, I mean,
it was
even less time.
like 8-9 minutes, right? Yeah, something like that.
Probably, yeah.
Otto said that was stressful, and he's like, this is going to be easy.
I know.
So Otto, did you watch any TV or movies or no?
Oh, that didn't even come out.
No.
We did though at night. So at night.
At night when things quiet down, Elaine and I actually start calling friends.
Yeah, but everybody, it was so quiet. Everybody was asleep, and we're like, oh, why are people napping? We're just gonna stay up the whole time. And then we were delirious. We were FaceTiming Devang and Louisa. They all thought something was wrong, and we're like, nope, we're just bored at BIGS.
So you guys didn't sleep at all?
It was like 4 a.m. Yeah.
I don't think we took a few naps, but yeah, we stayed up until Maggie was done. And we were hilarious.
Yeah.
We were laughing hard.
We had another question in here again from Sarah Moore. Elaine and Otto, how much McDonald's did you consume over the weekend?
I think we hit every fast food joint on the way there and back. I mean, all of it. Hardee's,
Hardee's and
Wendy's,
Arby's. Yeah. We actually didn't go to McDonald's, right? Oh, we did.
Yeah, breakfast.
Yeah.
Bill's breakfast was McDonald's. Yeah, it was a good fast food 3 days.
That's solid.
We're to the grocery store because we're like, we just need greens.
So a little fiber. We've got another question here from Andrew Moore. Have you ever seen Maggie cry?
No.
Otto? I don't think I did.
No?
Did I? No, I don't think I did, right?
She's laughing.
I don't think so.
I did?
I don't know.
I might see someone cry, but I'm not sure if that was Maggie.
No, he needs the flashcards so he can know. Hold them up.
Oh yes. All right.
Now, before the flashcard, right? I remember Elaine. I was telling Elaine at night. Remember one night we saw a runner coming in? I saw a runner coming in. I asked Elaine, is that Maggie?
Who was it, Elaine?
I don't know. Turned out it was someone
Harvey
else.
Lewis. He's like,
I know. I was gonna say there's only.
So that's the tough thing, right? Being a crew, sometimes you don't recognize your runner when they come in.
Really?
There's literally only 4 women, and I don't think we could make it different.
But you remember, right, Elaine? At one point, I was like, "Is that Maggie coming?" And then I keep looking. I was like, "Turned out it wasn't you. It was someone else." I forgot who that was.
Well, I know that when I first showed you the flashcards, you thought Amelia was Maggie.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I think they look alike.
So all right, you guys got to give everyone the backstory on the flashcards. What's the deal with that?
So Otto doesn't have the best memory with people. You could meet him on like Saturday and do like a 20 miler with him, and then Sunday, if you meet him again, he'll be like, "Oh, nice to meet you." So I don't know. A couple of years ago, I made him some flashcards of ultra runners, just their friends. So I figured, well, I should make them again for BIGS because there's only 15 runners and he should know them. So
here they are.
Here they are.
And Mike Wardian he crewed for an entire 100-miler in New York, and I'm like, please at least know a Mike Wardian.
Poor Otto. But he does say that Brad Pitt has the same problem.
Okay.
Not about memory. It's a medical condition.
And then
I think it's Brad Pitt.
Chris
Wow.
Powell, who we thought, well, I was just trying to find people on
The
Facebook
wrong Chris Powell.
photos, and I got the wrong Chris Powell.
Oh boy.
This guy is not an ultra runner.
That's
whatever.
awesome. All right, so
Hold
Maggie's.
the flip chart up. See if he knows. Let's pop quiz him.
All right, ready?
Oh boy.
No.
Otto, you're being put on the spot, man. You better be
No.
ready.
Okay, it's about Maggie, right? Tonight. Man, this is a tough one. I don't know.
He was like right next to us on the other side of our tent.
And it was right next to us. It's all right. Here, I'll give you an easy one.
That's Joe Fiji's. Who's that?
That's your
Oh no!
He got it. He said it.
Okay, all right, good. All right. We'll test you again
Anyway.
later.
You be
Yeah.
ready. There's gonna be another pop quiz in a little bit.
Sarah's watching. There you are, Sarah.
Oh, that's a gimme. You gotta hold her up later. See if you remember. Shuffle it up. Show him some more people and see if he gets that again.
Yeah, I don't know. We have a whole.
Well, we got another 25 minutes left, so pace yourself with the
Oh,
flashcards.
we're not going for a PR?
Yeah. Awesome. All right, so back to BIGS, right? Maggie's going in and out. Phil was going. Oh,
Who's that?
Otto.
Oh, that's Les. Actually, at one point I was confused. Was
Oh,
that his
God.
another name was Gary? Was it?
Oh, that's his
Yeah,
name.
that's his real
that's
name.
his real name.
So I didn't know,
Everyone would
right?
call him Gary.
So there
Yeah.
was a woman who came up to us and then start talking about like Gary this, Gary that. I was like,
It's his wife, Sandra.
Sandra, yeah.
so I didn't know that was his wife. So I was like, who is Gary and who is this woman? Hey, that was my first time there, you know?
Oh, I love it.
Oh boy. So are you going back next year, Otto?
Well, definitely not running, but I don't know.
You should run it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you
Run it
thought
back
about
up.
it?
I keep saying I'm too old for this stuff, man.
Oh my God.
You're too old. Are you serious?
His birthday is Thanksgiving, by the way.
Oh.
I just realized like now, you know, like talking to you guys right here, right now, or even at work, then always I realize that I'm always the oldest now when I'm talking to everyone. Like right now, 4 of us, I'm sure I'm the oldest here. So
You gotta find older friends. If Phil was here, you wouldn't be the oldest.
but he can still kick my butt.
Exactly. Please, Otto.
Yeah, I don't know, Otto. I think you do pretty well.
Well.
A lot next year. That's not
It's
a
true.
easy race right there.
You know, honestly, like, you know, like I think a lot of people look at BIGS, right? They say, you get a whole hour to do 4 miles. I mean, at least that was the way I was thinking. It's like, how hard could it be? Until I look at it, being there and seeing how tough it is just amazing. Like, you know, how it's almost like you have to make sure every loop you come back, like looking at Maggie, you cannot come back too early because you really don't want to push too hard. In between, you have only a couple minutes. It's like you have no time or no room for mistake, right? I mean, if you have a bad patch, you better get fixed really like within 1 or 2 loops. If you don't get it fixed, pretty much your race is over right away. You're out.
Well, you just have minutes to do everything that
Right.
you do.
It's amazing how looking at it when you talk to people about you have 1 hour to do 4 miles, everyone will be thinking,
Yeah, they're like,
so
oh, that sounds
easy.
doable.
Nothing. Everyone could do it. I can walk it, you know.
Right.
Until you're there, then you realize there's actually no room for mistake. You don't have time for any like bad patch or, you know, when you run 100 miles, you can have a rough time for maybe an hour or two or whatever, and then you just carry on, walk it, and then you have your second win. But then in BIGS, it's like if you have a bad patch, maybe you get 1 or 2 hours, so you get one loop or two loops to recoup yourself. If not, you are done. You are out right away. That is crazy. So I mean, like, I'm sure you guys, if you guys follow what happened with Maggie, the tape and all this, that was really amazing, like how she managed, and then she can carry on for like I think it was another 6 or 7 hours. That was
Well,
really
that's like
coming
part of
back.
it was so stressful for you guys is because like the year before it was very uniform. I had exactly the same amount of time. I had 7 minutes during the day. I had 14 minutes, 13 minutes like nighttime, and it was like it was
Wow,
like
you came in
clockwork.
at 13?
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
yeah, and like that wasn't how it was, and so it was like, oh my god, they're like, she's coming in at 3 minutes till, and like you guys have to scramble, and it's super
Right.
crazy. So it's like, I don't know, it's harder on the crew when it's not just like, oh, here we go, we do our thing, and then it's over.
So what did that time look like in between each loop? I mean, I'm sure everyone wasn't the same, but walk us through what that transition time looked like. I mean, I'm imagining like it's like a NASCAR pit stop type of situation.
Oh, it totally is.
Is
Yeah.
that what it felt like?
Well, everybody came in about what, I don't know, 55 to 60, 54. Well, I guess within 10 minutes. They all came in.
less than 10 minutes, I
Yeah.
remember.
Did you guys hear the vacuum?
No, at your place? Is Ryan?
Ryan decided to start vacuuming.
Ryan, cut it out. I don't hear it. Oh yeah, I hear it.
Okay, at least you can't hear it.
You'll have a clean house.
Yeah.
So it was just, I don't know. It would be seeing what they need. I mean, sometimes Maggie would need, like, if it was nighttime, of course, a flashlight or a buff or music. I think you would need sometimes your headphones.
Her hat, sometimes sunglasses. I mean, we just pretty much lay everything out. Whatever.
Easier to see what they options. That way they don't have to think about it.
Right. I gotcha. And so what was the story with the tape? What happened with the tape?
Yeah.
So I got a text that, like, you texted me while you were on the road. I think it was, I don't know what last.
Oh yeah, did I text you to be like, can we tape my leg or something?
At like 30, I don't know what it was, 36, 35, I don't know what lap it was. You had texted me saying that we needed to tape up your knee, and you couldn't run, but you were going to try to make up your time or something after the hill. You couldn't run the hills or the downhills or the uphills, I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, I think before I left, I told Gina, because she's really good at that stuff, so I thought she might actually know, or I was like, can you figure out how to tape the back of the knee? And so she's figuring that out. I think I was just giving you an update because like I couldn't run down the hill, so I was like, oh, I'll make up time.
Yeah.
Like, I also know, I don't know if you guys were asking Mike Melton or not, but there's on the road out, like there's a timing mat, so people know when you've turned around or if you've made it. So it's like mine time was gonna be super slow on the way out. So I was like texting Elaine.
Yeah. So
I'm like,
I was like, well, just Google. And we're like, all right, we'll Google and try to figure this out. And then I was messaging like any PT friends I had. I messaged Kim. I was like, all right, we need to know how to tape Maggie's leg up. And
I just sent you a Google article. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe check out this article.
Well, here's Google. I'm like, all right. But someone messaged, I don't know who it was, and they were like, I know a PT in Tennessee. I was like, we have to get this done in 3 minutes. No appointments. It was funny. But yeah, she came in, we tried to tape it, but then it wasn't sticking to your leg, right? The first time.
Yeah, it was the kind of tape we're using, and then
but we I think we had 3 minutes.
Have a lot of time. So I think
a 3-minute whistle.
Yeah, but I think then the next time I came in with like 7 minutes or something.
A lot of time, yeah.
That was maybe what really did me in. I don't know, but
because she pushed
you guys got
early so we could fix her, and then it's tricky. I mean,
Yeah, and everyone, it was like super humid that year. I mean, it's always humid, but everyone's skin was just like gross and like this is hard to get tape to stick. Everyone said like, "Oh, we're all having the same problems." But Gina used benzoin. It's like
Yeah.
that brown stuff or whatever, and she's a chemist, like so she knew like, oh, she's like hand sanitizer because she needed alcohol to like I forget the term she used. So like that because the benzoin was all dried out, so she
Oh,
like
that's right. Yeah.
mixed up this concoction and like did this whole thing.
And then it stuck, right?
Yeah. It was stuck. I had to like, do that like 1, 2, 3, where you like pull it off or like,
Oh.
after driving that one time, like that first day.
Yeah.
So at what point did that start bothering you, Maggie? Was it early on in the race or was it towards the end?
Second day.
The first day I noticed things happening that were like not feeling right. And then the road felt much better and I got back to the trail and I was able to do a couple quick laps. But then my knee was buckling and like everything felt like super stiff in the front. Like I couldn't bend it. And so I basically finished every lap in that second day with like 3 minutes to spare or less.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'll get to the road. It'll be much better because like then I can move I don't have to worry about like, I had to run the smooth parts faster because like the rocky parts, I had to like just kind of walk through them.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh, the road will be fine. But then when I started going down the only like hill, which you do every time, because you go this little out and back on the road and then into the trail. But the nighttime, I think I did one lap, it was okay. And then I started to feel like something was going on. And so when I went down the steep road, you just keep going out. I was like, something's wrong. And like, I couldn't move my leg. And it took a really long time to get like jogging, like any kind of normal pace. And, and then that extended, that's like what Otto is saying. You just can't have like a bad, like hour. So, the first mile that I did on the whatever lap when things went downhill was like 17 minutes, but I was able to make that up. And a 17-minute mile is not a good pace, or 16-minute or whatever it was. That's not you. So you have to make it up. And then I think the whole out was like 16, 17-minute pace. So that was 2 miles at that pace, which unless you're just running back, I mean, that's a lot of time to make up. So I was trying to jog and it wasn't happening. And I got down to like a 15-minute pace on that 3rd mile. And I was like, I keep running, but like then you have the uphill part. So, and like what Otto said, like, say like I was running a 200 miler, I could maybe have like limped it in for another 30 something miles. Well, you could finish the 200 miler, but you don't have that luxury.
Yeah. You could spend more time at the aid station. But here it's just
we could have like addressed this issue sooner because like we had more than 3 minutes.
Right.
Yeah, it's a hard, I mean, because like on paper, you look at all those people that showed up. I mean, Olivier Leblanc can run like 170 miles in or whatever in like 24 hours.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh yeah. But like mentally, I think that got to him, and like different things, and and like also sleep gets to people. Like some people may be really good at sleep deprivation, but Laz said this last year just makes sense kind of. He said for him, some years like, or some race that he's at sleep wouldn't be an issue. Whereas like other times he just couldn't, the sleep deprivation would really hit him hard. So, and normally, obviously he does all kinds of races. He stays up all the time and he says he's getting older and like
just like Otto.
Yeah, just like Otto. How was the sleep for you this year, Maggie? How did it compare to years past now that this is your 3rd time being out there? Was it different, similar, or?
I mean, I only had time to sleep the first night anyway. And yeah, I felt like I fell asleep a couple times. You never feel like that rested. I didn't feel that rested waking up last year from anything. So it's here and there. And then when I was slowing down on the road loops, I was like, oh, I'm going to do the whole second night with no sleep. And I was like, just ready to do that. I was like, this will be interesting. But I felt awake because it was like such a rush to try to make the lap every time. So yeah, I slept a lot less like you know, because like everyone's tried, like normally in a 24-hour, I wouldn't sleep. Like I don't need to sleep. No one, like anyone needs to sleep in the 24-hour. Like it's just one night, but
Yeah, you don't
you
know how
have to kind of start like banking some sleep and trying to sleep.
Which that was amazing. It was amazing to see the runners just sleep for a few minutes. You know, Maggie would be like, wake me up in 5 minutes or wake me up in 3 minutes.
Right.
Just the thought of sleeping for 3 minutes sounds crazy, but then when you add it all up, and I guess it does help. You know, Courtney would come in and just sleep right away.
She would just like go lie down and then, yep.
So what happened, you know, when you didn't make it back after that last loop, then what happened the rest of the time? Because you guys were still there. Like, walk us through what happens after you drop. Like, did you sleep? Did you eat? Did you, like, what happened? What'd you guys all do?
It was in the middle of the night, so I think we all kind of took a nap eventually after like just whatever.
We fell asleep.
Yeah. And then the next day you guys went home. You started to drive, right? Because Phil had been out since like the other day. Like and I don't know, at this point Kevin and like Courtney have it down so dialed. Like I didn't really help crew or anything, but you're just there for moral support. And Gina and I tried to clean up the tent and like because like shit was everywhere. and then this third night, yeah, I think eventually everyone kind of was like, all right, this is going to be on, we'll make it to 72. Everyone kind of figured like, so everyone kind of found their sleep spot. And I think I woke up at like 71 and saw them off, and everyone kind of woke up for some reason to like go see, and just to see like them past it was 67. So he woke up then just to see them past that 68-mile point, which is the farthest anyone's gone, which is Courtney and Johan 2018. And then all of a sudden Harvey comes back and we're like, what?
Yeah.
And Harvey had thought that they were on lap 69 so that she was going to get it, because he had hung on as long as he could. And he's like, right. I just can't anymore. And then it was like over. So it's like, it's just so crazy. You can never get settled in that race. Like, all right, we'll wake up in the day. And it's like, you know, then it's over.
Right. What was it like when it ended? Like, it must have been strange to see him coming back towards the finish line, right?
Well, yeah, by the time I knew that it was him, like he was already back. Yeah. And then so we just waited for Courtney. Everyone just kind of, you know, there weren't that many people left. A lot of people left. So it was like Sarah and her crew hung around. And Harvey, honestly, that was it. Like the only runners that had dropped that were still there were like the women, and there might have been some guys there. I don't remember. Gabe's hung in for a while, and I don't remember. It was just like kind of dark and whatever, but yeah, so it was cool. I mean, you know, then they had the live stream going, so like Courtney Zoom as soon as she was done with like people and say hi, and I don't know, then everyone just hung out for a little bit, but we all went to sleep because it was like middle of the night.
And then did you guys all head home the next day, or did you stick around and then make your way?
Yeah, back? We cleaned up and everyone kind of jetted because like some people were flying and they tried to get earlier flights, or their flights were, people book multiple flights sometimes and then they'll cancel like the later one or the earlier one, whichever. And so once we were cleaned up, we just kind of headed out.
Gotcha. Okay, we have, I think, quite a few questions in the chat. So I think we probably could make this whole interview about Q&A. So give me a second. I'm going to scroll up and read some of these. Sarah Moore is very chatty, I have to say that. She's got a lot to say in this live chat. Oh yeah, here you go. Elaine's got a quiz for you, Otto.
Got it.
Harvey. That's easy.
Got it.
Yeah.
You should know Harvey too, because Harvey was on my team in 2015.
Yeah. I met him in Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There are
backwater he was running also.
That's right.
Harvey's
an easy one.
Yeah.
You should at least get Harvey.
Well, there's 98 comments. So here's a question from Lauren Zenz. Maggie, how much tailwind did you use during the race? And was it 50% tailwind, 50% solid food for fuel?
I wouldn't say 50-50. Otto was trying to force feed me all kinds of food, and I was like, I don't. And then finally,
And
Elaine's
then
like,
I had to eat all his food.
calories in the tailwind, because he's like, you're not eating. I'm like, it's tailwind. Like, I'll eat like every 3 hours, maybe like some food, or if I'm hungry, whatever. Like, but no, I think also because I didn't have a lot of time between laps, I was just taking tailwind, and I would eat like a bite of whatever Otto put in front of me, but I took 100 calories or so of tailwind with me each time.
Otto, what were you trying to feed Maggie? Force feed her.
What the mac and cheese, right? There was mac and cheese,
Pancakes,
Potatoes, like
pierogies are good.
pierogies,
pierogies. I
chicken,
think
like little.
pancake. At one point we had pancakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
Gnocchi, I think.
Yeah.
There was soup.
Yeah, soup.
Try to get hot soup. I'm like, like I have 2 kids, so my goal is always like it's just like pretty much it's just like taking care of the kids, right? Like I just make sure they eat, they sleep, and they poop. That's the only thing, right?
You didn't ask me that during.
No, actually, I'm serious. I'm not even joking about the pooping. Every time you came in, that you went to the bathroom, I would see Courtney came in without you. Then I would start getting really worried. I was like, okay, where's Maggie? I would start going around. I would ask her, and she was like, oh, don't worry, she's in the.
Yeah, well, Courtney would pee on the side of the road, but I just peed in the porta potty every time I went in, because it was hard to squat down like that. So I was just like, it's right there.
So that's where I mark. Okay, Maggie went to bathroom.
Yeah, Otto keeps track of everything. He writes down of what I've consumed and what I did.
No, I mean like that was like just like back then when I have like 2 babies, like 2 kids. We just make sure they eat, they sleep, and then they poop. That's it.
He's been around the block a few times, I guess, with the crewing situation. Okay, Andrew Moore wants to know, did you hear any good jokes while you were out there?
No, none. 0. Especially not Sarah's jokes. It's funny because Courtney likes telling jokes, but so does Sarah, and they're vastly different jokes. Because Sarah's are super raunchy and really wrong, and Courtney was like, her mouth was open, like, oh my God, and hers are like very like, she's a grade school teacher.
All right, so no good jokes, at least that you can repeat. We have a question from Rebecca Constant wants to know, did Laz stay awake the entire time?
He took a few naps, but not much. He said he slept like, I don't know, I forget what he said, 20 minutes the whole time total. Because he would go in and write those updates.
Yeah.
Right.
Not sleeping, and then he missed the 3-minute whistle a lot of times. I remember people would be like, whistle, whistle, whistle. Because he's the only one that can have the whistle. But he never missed the bell, so.
That's the important one.
Yeah, that's the important one, the bell. All right, Sarah's trolling again. She wants to know, does tailwind give you a tailwind?
Proverbially, not literally.
All right, next one, Lauren Zen's, Maggie, did you have any hallucinations?
Yeah, I can't remember what they were though, like at this point. Honestly, I was tired, and like I didn't really sleep well the night before the race, which last year I really did, and then the year before I didn't, and like, so I was kind of hallucinating the first night, which I don't usually hallucinate after 24 hours, and like, I think I saw like a guy on like a unicycle.
What?
But yeah,
Really?
like, well, it was like, but it was, it's always something like when you get closer, you realize like it's like a big tree, or it's like the arch of like a farm or something. But then the second night I was just so busy trying to make the lap, I didn't have time to like focus on the whatever nonsense is going around. Yeah, it's like I don't have time for you.
Do your hallucinations ever talk back when you see them?
No.
No, that's probably good, right?
I don't know, but I've never run for 3 nights, so we'll see.
Next year.
All right. We got some more questions here. This is from Ram Manolo. For Kim. Oh, this is for me. Any future Sasquatch hundo race in New Jersey? And for Maggie to join a Sasquatch event. I will say, now that I've done my first 100, it could be on the table. I'm not making any commitments, but I'm saying that now Sassquad could definitely put on an event. I just personally believe that you need to have done something in order to offer it as a race director. So that's my answer for that. It's possible. It's possible. And then the second part of the discussion, Maggie to join a Sasquatch event.
I mean, when I get back to visit and this whole thing's over, I'd love to do the Sassquad surprise again. That was super fun. Or anything, whatever lines up with because that would be a good way to see people too, and just like
That would be
one of the races and stuff. Yeah,
that would be great. The surprise race is a ton of fun. That it's because it's so unique, everyone's running a different event.
That was one of my favorite races.
Thanks, Maggie. Ryan Thorpe wants to know, Maggie, did you come up with any names for the hills, rocks, or turns on the course since you saw them so many times?
I don't think so, but everyone refers to them like everyone will refer to a specific landmark. It's not a very creative name or anything, but they have the V tree, which you're supposed to go through. The course is actually a lollipop. So you go through the V tree twice to head back. And you have to hit that at a certain time. And then everyone tries to hit the field. There's this open field and it's a little bit downhill. There's almost no obstacles in the way, but there's like a sneaky route all the time that always trips people up. Then there's like a little cave on one little spot. If you look down, it's like this little tiny cave. So there's like really unique little things along the way. As far as I know, no one's named them like anything.
Okay.
Not like Barkley, where they name like parts of the Barkley course after people who have done some crazy things there, like, taking naps and not woken up or something.
Awesome. All right. Next one from Yoshiko Joe. Hi, Yoshiko. This question is for Elaine and Otto. What's the best part to crew or help Maggie during the race?
What's the best part?
Yes.
When it was over.
Yeah, I don't know. We're blank.
I mean, honestly, I think crewing, when you're runner, actually, our energy is really coming from the runner. And I think it's also, we give our energy to the runner. So it's kind of like we give energy to each other. So every time when Maggie comes in and very positive, very happy, and it really brings us the high, like that. We actually get the energy from the runner. We feel it, and then we feel like, yes, like we are right on, we are doing good, and so. But
maybe that's why I was in such a good mood on the second day, even though I was coming in 3 minutes to spare. Like I was having fun, and then
she was always
Elaine
happy, and
Elaine and Otto always make like little jokes and like never take anything super seriously. So I was just like, whatever. I mean, just keep doing that. 57 minutes is good enough. Like, I don't know.
So yeah, we try to change the atmosphere, stuff like that. But yeah.
He never joined any of the cheerleader jeers though. You guys should have joined.
We are horrible at that. We don't have that. We try to stay very positive.
That's too negative for you.
Awesome. Yoshika, is a great question. We still got more questions coming in. Again, let's see. Bailey Lewis wants to know, she says, sorry if I missed this part of the conversation, but did you switch from road shoes? Did you switch to road shoes for the roads and then trail shoes for trail?
Yeah. And I think just because you don't have a lot of time between the trail loop. I think I would do like one road loop in the trail shoes and then change. But yeah, it was always nice to change shoes anyway, so it was a good excuse to switch.
Awesome. Sarah Moore again. Maggie, Elaine, and Otto want to come run in Michigan. Want to come run in a Michigan backyard with me.
Yeah, it's a golden ticket race, so we'll crew Otto and he can run in the backyard.
Perfect.
There you go.
When is it? We'll mark our calendar, Sarah.
I already know how to make Otto not quit. You just keep sending. I crewed him, or paced him for Leadville, and he kept saying that he wanted to go home over and over again all the time. I was like, just keep going. This is the way home. This way.
Well, we just
And that
locked the
worked?
car. We're like, all right, we're leaving.
That's awesome. Okay, again from Yoshiko Joe. For Maggie, what is your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Sushi.
Is it really? You have sushi at Thanksgiving?
I've never had sushi on Thanksgiving.
I seriously thought you would say mashed potato. But
I
I thought you were gonna say tailwind.
No, I don't think I would have that with things. That doesn't. I don't know if I want to drink that with food. I like stuffing, but like I have never made it myself, so I don't even know if we'll make it. I don't know. I like going to other people's houses and seeing what they have for Thanksgiving, and then like I don't know, something different, you know. Like Ryan's family, they like this thing. He loves this thing called buttered noodles. I think it's like a very PA Dutch like thing. It's like if you're from Lancaster, you probably know what buttered noodles are. It's literally just butter noodles, but like this yellow reddish tint, just from a little bit of saffron. But that's it. That's the only ingredients.
Wow. I mean, it probably tastes good if it's just butter and noodles.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
and like saffron, like a weird saffron taste.
Yeah. Okay, Yoshiko's like just keeping them rolling. She wants to know, what Netflix shows are you watching right now?
I'm not watching anything. I want to start. Oh wait, that's not Netflix. Is it Netflix? Queen's Gambit. Everyone says that's good.
Everybody's talking about that. I haven't seen it.
I heard it
I
was
think
good.
it's on Netflix. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it's good.
Yeah, that's what I plan to start.
I haven't watched anything in so long.
Otto.
oh, me?
Yeah, what do you got? What do you got,
I'm
Otto?
not in the office. I download for BIGS. I'm still trying to catch up with that.
He's watching The Office.
Office is always good, and I feel like it's going away soon. Well, maybe they like extended it for the pandemic, but the Office was going to go away in 2021 from Netflix. So I don't know when that's happening or not.
Good thing you downloaded it, Otto.
Yeah.
All right, here's another question. What is next for each of you in terms of races? If there's any race coming up for the rest of the year or next year?
I have Naked Nick, 50K. Yeah, when is that? 2-3 weeks?
Otto has like 400 milers.
Yeah, just a casual,
Wait.
you know.
Well, we're going from Athens to Greece, right? I mean, Athens to Sparta.
Who asked the question?
I did.
Oh,
He's like, it depends on who asked the question. Okay?
no,
Although,
because
you know what?
I-
Andrew Moore just chimed in for Otto, wants to know, are you running Old Dominion or any Virginia races next year?
maybe, I mean, I have no idea what's going on next year, so we'll see. But then I know there's a 50-miler in Brooklyn,
Hmm?
like I think in Prospect Park. So
Oh, yeah,
you
I
run
saw
like
that.
50.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
A 50
kind of
miler?
thinking about it. Yeah.
A lot
It's
of
all, I think it's all pavement though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's pavement?
Prospect Park is pavement.
Yeah.
That's got to be what, like 18 loops? Isn't 9 loops the marathon?
15 loops.
Ugh.
So I'm thinking about it. It's only $50. So it's like $1 a loop. You can beat that, right?
Awesome. How about you, Maggie?
Nothing the end of the year. I mean, we'll see about Barkley. Everyone's just rolled over. I mean, you still have to apply and stuff, but so who knows what's gonna happen? But that's like the plan from March.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Awesome.
Mhm.
All right. We got another question. We're just going to take a couple more. This is from, I'll just say Brian. I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name. Brian wants to know, sorry if this has been asked since I've been in and out, but was it more difficult, the physical side or the mental side of BIGS? So which one was more challenging for you?
100% physical. Because I was just so in it. Like, it was kind of disappointing because I was like, oh, I'm having fun even when this is like falling apart. And I was like, I was ready to just go without sleep if I had to do it, to have 30 seconds between laps. But I mean, stuff happens, and the legs they were so swollen after. I don't remember my legs doing that since my first ultra in like 2011, and it was all pavement. And like, they're just like, I don't know, just one of those things. So.
Do you ever
I
find
have
out
to
what
add
happened
one
or
thing,
why it
right?
was? No.
I don't know. I wonder if it's just like the lack of volume all year, because I didn't run for 2 months from April to May. And then June, like I just did a lot of slow mountain stuff. And then I tried to kind of like pick up the volume, but it's just hard because of like the breathing thing. And, then it didn't start to click till right before. And like, I felt like I was in good shape, but I think think of Courtney. She knew how to recover right from all that stuff, and you would think that would be detrimental. And like, all Harvey runs every day, and so I think you just have to just be one of those people that's super durable, and I usually am. But like, it's a bad year, and like, look at Mike Wardian, who's like you thought is like untouchable for any kind of lifting all these heavy things before. So everyone has like, their moment to like, then you just got to rest and figure it out, whatever. So
your mental game though is on it.
I think that's the easier part to control, I guess, like, I don't know. Once you get this old, I mean, you don't know.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I saw so many runners all these years, and Maggie has to be one of the toughest mentally. It's almost like nothing can stop her. Like, her mind is like, I don't know. I mean, you can tell she was in pain, but she could just keep going and smiling. It's just crazy. I have never seen someone like
even
that.
those last couple of laps, you would just show up all the time.
I mean, it was fun to just be there, and I wanted to keep running. So, but yeah.
Awesome. That was a really good question. We've got another one from
Yoshiko.
No, I know she's been kind of quiet last few minutes. This is from Tiffany Lilo. Wants to know, have you ever gotten rhabdo after a run? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Rhabdo?
That's pretty common.
Myelasis. Yeah. No, I haven't. Like, after my first ultra, I was like, oh my God, I think I have rhabdo. But I mean, especially since drinking Tailwind, I think I'm able to like, and I've been doing this for like a long time, like, unless Otto, stops drinking and then goes and runs super hard and hasn't been training. Like, I don't think someone like Otto would, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I think sometimes is like rhabdos when you don't take care of your body during like you get just behind on fluids, and like maybe it's just too much. Like, I know it's like your body can't flush out the waste products fast enough and stuff. And I know that like a lot of times, like, athletes will come back to CrossFit, and, after like being a college athlete, and now they're in their 30s and they do CrossFit, and it's super common. Cause you just ask your body a little too much. And like, I know it happens in running. But yeah, I've never had it. Luckily, you always think you do. And then after a certain like number of years, you're like, I definitely don't have that.
Awesome. Helen Clark says you are the Fab Four. So maybe that'll start trending. And Yoshiko Joe says Fab Four. So another question from Sarah Moore. Maggie, now that 3+ days have been
running.
oh no, she corrected it. Now that 3+ days have been hit, do you think your dream of 100 going to happen next year?
I don't know. I was talking to Laz about this. We've been saying 100 hours, and it's almost like this ridiculous goal. Really, I mean, everyone wanted to get to the 72 mark. And I think I think it's going to be inched forward more than like, oh, we're going to go from 70 where they went 75 hours. And Carl will be there next year. So, but again, like that doesn't mean that everyone's going to make it to 300, because obviously you saw like all those things that can go wrong, but there'll be a lot of people there next year. And I think that'll be more of an advantage than having a smaller numbers all over the place. That would be cool. But I don't know, like, I think it's just going to more inch forward. And like Laz thinks the same thing. It's just, it takes 2 people having this amazing, and like, I can't really speak to 3 nights, 4 nights. Like you have to get through 4 nights of like, just these naps and keep your mind in it, and then get back to the trail and be able to run at least 4 more loops to hit 100 hours. So like, cause I think 96 hours is 4 days. So it'll be hard. But I think we'll see it go like further and further. Yeah.
That's incredible. Well, Otto, you might have a little time to watch some shows if that happens. I don't know.
We'll fall asleep the second that the show comes.
That's awesome. All right. I think that about wraps it up for the questions in the group chat. This has been awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming on. It was really unique to have the crew perspective on there, because a lot of times you don't hear that side of the story. So thank you guys so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Awesome. So if you're watching this and you want to share it with a friend, this will be on Facebook. You can catch the replay. We're also going to load it on our podcast. You can look for us on Sassquad Trail Runners podcast anywhere they are streaming. We're on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, all that good stuff. So thank you again so much for joining us. And until we see you again, keep it squatchy.